Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes. And be sure you tune in tonight at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time for the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast as we wait for the arriving cold, frosts and freezes, but no major storms are on the horizon, at least from what we can see for the time being. So that's tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. As we take a look at the satellite loop this afternoon, we've got a couple of things that are obvious. One is that there's a circulation just east of the Bahamas. This is a very sheared looking system. That broad low is going to move up the coast and hook up with this cold front that is now moving to the west. But we don't see much of anything coming out of this. It really is more of part of the mechanics of bringing in the colder air that has spread out across the Great Lakes and Plain states, and that cold air mass continues to move eastward, and that is going to bring some widespread frosts and freezes to the eastern half of the United States. In fact, when we check the watches and warnings that are up for freeze warnings and freeze watches that extend from southern New Mexico all the way northeastward into the Ohio Valley. And now we've got the first frost warnings and freeze watches that are up for parts of Pennsylvania and into the Hudson Valley. We're going to see additional ones being added on over the next day or two. And we also have winter weather advisories up in northern Maine and along the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where there is some snow going on today. So, as far as the rain is concerned that we saw this morning, most of that has now moved into New England. There may be still one batch of showers left to work through, and you see the southern end of this in northern and eastern Pennsylvania, northwest New Jersey. Much of that is on the light side. There's some heavier showers going on in parts of upstate New York and into New England. This radar is as of 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have some showers from West Virginia, southwest into northwest Louisiana, and into East Texas. A little bit of snow that's going on in parts of the Dakotas. Most of this is aloft on the upper peninsula of Michigan as well, and in northern Maine, where we are seeing some snow. The western part of the United States is fairly quiet. Now, with respect to rainfall, or actually what I should say is precipitation, over the next 7 days, what you see in the east is pretty much front end loaded. Not much is going to happen once these weather systems move out tonight and Tuesday. A little bit of heavier precip around the Great Lakes, and we're getting some heavy rains and mountain snows that'll be coming into the Pacific Northwest with storm systems coming in from off the Pacific. There are no severe weather issues today. In fact, hardly any thunderstorms over the next couple of days. So from a severe weather standpoint, things are nice and quiet. No major storms around. You really need something like that in order to trigger up some severe weather. Now, just want to quickly point out that we look at the North Atlantic Oscillation as one of the many things that we look at. And this is an index that tells us that there are pressures that are higher up in the North Atlantic and lower in the mid-latitudes, which is where we are. And depending on what else is going on in the atmosphere, it does favor a colder pattern in the eastern part of the United States. There are exceptions to this, obviously, as we saw late last week. You get warm-ups in between air masses. Well, that index has been negative since late June, except for a small period in early September. It stays negative here as we go into the first couple of weeks of November. So that coupled with some action in the Pacific suggests that we're going to be in a colder than normal scheme of things going forward. Meanwhile, as we take a look at the next 5 days, it's really going to be all about temperatures. The front moves through. That low east of the Bahamas moves up the coast tomorrow as colder air is coming in. But precipitation with that, we could see some rain in the eastern Carolinas and southeastern Virginia. We might see a little rain clip coastal New Jersey Tuesday night and eastern Long Island into early Wednesday morning. But that low really functions as a way of bringing the core of this cold air mass into the eastern part of the United States. And we're going to see frosts and freezes, as we showed you earlier, getting pretty far south into the eastern part of the United States. But our weather is going to be fairly tame. A little bit of lake effect snow going on, perhaps on Wednesday. with an upper air trough going by. We will have tomorrow will probably be in the upper 40s to low 50s for daytime highs. Wednesday morning and Thursday morning look to be the two coldest mornings, probably 20s inland, 30s along the warmer in the warmer urban areas and along the coast. And then the weather is just going to be dry. I think by the time we get to Thursday and Friday, we'll have sunshine. We'll start to see temperatures moderate on Friday and going into the weekend, not like what we saw late last week. Another cold front will approach probably late Sunday and Sunday night. There's a low that's going to be going into western Pennsylvania, maybe redeveloped just offshore. So we could see some rain here late Sunday, Sunday night into early Monday. Turns chilly again for the early part of next week. Models seem to want to have another low to follow that up along about next Tuesday, but that's still a ways down the road. So, of course, we're going to evaluate all of this stuff again tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. That is at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Mark it down, and we'll see you then.